Our primary focus remains ensuring that our first responders have the fuel and supplies that they need. And for consumers, I'm proud to announce that we have just received some good news. The Colonial Pipeline officials have notified us this morning that the construction and positioning of the bypass pipeline in Alabama is now complete. Colonial engineers are testing the pipeline today, and upon successful completion, will prepare for a safe restart of the main fuel line. They project the line will restart tomorrow. However, it will still take several days for the fuel delivery supply chain to return to normal. And I want to emphasize that. It will still take several days for the normal fuel supply chain to return to normal. Now, I want to give you a little background on this. On September 9th, Colonial Pipeline officials discovered a leak in the pipeline in Alabama, where an estimated 252,000 gallons were spilled. As a result, the pipeline, which is the primary source of gasoline for North Carolina and many states in the Southeast, especially in the further west part of the Southeast, was entirely shut down. The good news is the fuel continues to flow into the state, but at a very reduced rate. As a result of the pipeline leak in Alabama, North Carolina is currently receiving about 1/3 of our normal supply of fuel. Now, while we are hearing of intermittent fuel outages in pockets across the state, many of the outages are occurring because of a run on fuel leading to a shortage of the product. The hardest hit areas are currently in western North Carolina and the Charlotte region. Now, let me also tell you some steps that we have already taken in preparation for today. As Colonial officials, who I want to thank very much, they've had a great line of communication with our emergency response team, and I know they're reacting as quick as possible. So as they continue to fix this damaged pipeline, we have taken steps in North Carolina to alleviate fuel disruptions and also protect customers from fuel gouging. On Thursday, I declared a state of emergency and signed executive orders to do the following. First of all, temporarily waive hours of service and other trucking restrictions of fuel vehicles traveling in and through the state. That is, we're trying to get as many trucks who are now delivering to North Carolina to get to North Carolina as quick as possible. So I've waived many of the restrictions for trucking to get them to our state as quick as possible. We have also, to protect customers, we have made sure that we are, to protect customers from excessive pricing at the fuel pumps during the shortage, we are working with the Attorney General's office to ensure that we aren't enforcing the price gouging laws. I do want to state that our environmental department is working to provide practical guidance, because the law is rather vague, to ensure that businesses understand how to comply with North Carolina price gouging laws. As a state, we have enacted short-term conservation measures until normal fuel flows are completely restored. Yesterday, I instructed all state agencies to consider options to limit fuel use, including curtailing non-essential travel for state employees. Additionally, I want to thank many counties who have already implemented fuel conservation plans. We have also encouraged the private sector to take similar measures to encourage employees, if they can, to telecommunicate where appropriate and minimize non-essential travel. We're also encouraging motorists to take similar measures to reduce their fuel when possible and resist the temptation to run to the gas station to top off their tanks. That causes more problems than anything, especially during the next 24 hours. Finally, I'm also calling on the EPA, the federal government, to temporarily waive vapor collection regulations during the transfer of fuel at our ports to help more efficiently fill tanker ships and trucks. This is a problem right now, and we've got a long line of tanker trucks at our ports at this point in time because of the very stringent vapor regulations, which we would like a waiver to temporarily stop that so we can get these trucks to the marketplace as quick as possible. In closing, I want to thank our emergency operations team. I want to thank those in the private sector, and I also want to thank the counties and the fuel suppliers who are working to replenish fuel, especially to first responders and emergency operation workers, and also to the general public. In the meantime, my executive order remains in effect to protect motorists from excessive gas prices and minimize any interruptions in fuel supply and travel throughout the state of North Carolina. Now, I do want to state, back in 2008, in fact, when I was mayor of Charlotte, we ran into a very similar situation. And one thing we've learned is that this is typically a short-term problem, and it'll remain a short-term problem if we follow these guidelines. We know we can all pull together as a state and get through this temporary disruption, and we'll look forward to returning to business as normal.